Morning, it's Wednesday, 20 past 8. Got up 7ish, stayed at my mate's house. We're in Leeds. I'm in Leeds, so he's dropping his daughter off at nursery, and now we're about to go to Virgin, hit a gym. I think he's got a PT, so I think we're doing a session with his PT, and then going to see his business. Yeah. Oh, and check out his X5. It's absolutely phenomenal. It is literally making me want to get one. Quality, mate. McDonald's and Pizza Hut.
That's the hardest thing about going to the gym here.
You got Nando's.
You've got to drive past Pizza Hut and McDonald's.
Five Guys. Did you go Five Guys? It's nice. Nice where we are. I'm in Sam's office. Seeing how he operates.
Messily. We could try, because what we could do is put it through our sourcing division.
Double screen, I see.
Yeah, so it goes out our sourcing
man.
Like the boss.
With Raw Market.
Ruby and Joe, Richard.
Get Joe to crop in together. Some of the old details you've got with them.
Very insightful.
Alright.
Very insightful.
Are you recording?
It's just for my vlog.
How's it going?
It's going very well. We had a good workout, very good workout.
Yeah, I took Ollie to the
me
gym.
to school. Yeah, wipe the floor with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're off to see one of our developments now, 31 flats. Gonna go and have a look. Show them the sites. We can do a bit more filming there, can't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Went round, showed the council, met the council. I spoke to Leeds Council, see what their stance was on HMOs. Trying to be pro HMO with them. I don't know if they share the same view. But yeah.
Whereabouts?
Cool. Where are we going now?
Right, so we're just leaving our office in Burley, which is Leeds LS4. We're going to go and visit one of our sites, which is Merchant's House on Leeds Road in Shipley, which is in the sort of Bradford district, about 25 minutes from our office. And it's an old office block. I think it might have been council that's recently been converted into 31 one-bed flats and studios. So I think there's 4 studios and 27 flats. That's 31, isn't it? We've got the show flats up and running. The show flats have been live for about a week or 2, and we're anticipating the build to be completed hopefully this side of Christmas, if not just before the new year, with a view to us being able to get tenants moved in for January. So we've done some marketing. We've not been too successful with the viewing so far. I think that's probably because 1, it's Christmas and people aren't really looking, but 2, because we've put on the advert available to move in the new year, a lot of people were like wanting to move straight in. But it's good to have the advert out there, and it's good to have a few people on the database, and it's good to sort of judge the price points and things like that. So we're pretty much looking forward to it all kicking off in the new year with that one, along with some of the other sites we've got. So you know, it's from a lettings point of view, it's great to take on 31 units in one building. We'll be doing the block management as well, so we're going to have ultimate control over all the communal areas, the car park, the outside space, which makes it easier for us to manage everything because we're going to be in total control. I think sometimes when you're dealing with third parties, whether it be the landlord, contractors, you know, block management companies or freeholders, yeah, you know, we're not going to have to then report stuff to a freeholder who's going to mess about. You know, we're going to be in complete control, so ultimately we'll be accountable for everything. So yeah, so I'm excited about this one. We've been waiting for it for about 6 months from when we knew we were in the running to take on the management. We're currently in the process of taking on about 5 different blocks of various different sizes. I think the largest one's going to be 50 flats in Halifax, and a couple that are like 19. So that's really going to springboard the early 2018, take us up to the summer, and then I think what we're going to really do is start sort of tweaking the model and ramping up the advertising to try and see if we can get a few more clients who are doing this kind of business model. But what we found is, you know, the lettings industry is coming under increasing attack from the government with new legislation, with different rules, tax, etc., etc. And a lot of the historic landlords, you know, mum and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Jones I call them, are tending not to enter the market as much. So we're finding that people who are really pushing the buy-to-let industry at the minute are more of your professional investors, developers, and also institutions are now starting to get involved with buying on a grand scale. So what we've identified was that lettings historically has always been, you know, stuck to a small geographical area where, you know, if the house is in that area, the letting agency would take it on. But what we found was the developers really aren't buying in one specific location. They're buying where the deals are, so they're going where the buildings are, where the opportunities are. And it might be that they have 2 or 3 different agents in one city, and if they've got sites all over different cities, they could be managing between 15 and 20 letting agents, and it just becomes a nightmare. They're just, you know, they're all doing it differently, everyone's using different systems, everyone works differently, and the expectations are different, and it's just impossible to manage. So what we've done is for the block management is we've offered like a one agent solution. So anywhere within the north of England, starting from Leeds, going across to Bradford, Halifax, Huddersfield, across the Hull, down to Doncaster, and eventually down to Nottingham and across to Liverpool, is we're saying, look, give us the sites, we'll take them on, you know, we'll manage everything, but you're only ever dealing with one company. So, you know, you could go to one of the larger corporates who offer block management, who offer this kind of service, but then all they do is they take the buildings and they divide it up between, you know, which of their agents in that local area covers that patch. So the client is basically dealing with a different branch manager of a different branch of a letting agent, and none of them all talk to each other, so it's no different to using multiple different letting agents. So really what we're offering is a solution where we will manage them in our, you know, across a larger geographical area, but when you ring up you'll always speak to Ruby about your applications, or you'll speak to James about your lets, you know, or you speak to me about the accounts, as we are at the minute, and obviously the team will grow. And then what we've done to make sure that we're not caught short with having properties that are far away that might have issues, or tenants wanting to check in, or viewings, is we team up with local agents. So for each one of our sites we have 1 or 2 local agents who are free to advertise the property, free to do the viewings, free to do the lets, and we just agree a let only thing with them, so that not only have we got our centralised coverage and our Rightmove and Zoop and all that, but we've also got a local company who might be closer to the development, who might get the walk-in traffic, who might get local people ring up going, have you got any 1-bed flats in the area? So we're basically making sure that we maximise the opportunity to get the tenants, and then the client has centralised management. So from a client's point of view, they only ever deal with us, so they don't know who's let it, and because the tenancy application goes through our processes and has to meet our tests, it's never going to be a case of, oh well, that agency just threw in any old tenant because they were just getting a let only, they're not bothered. You know what I mean? We ultimately will have the decision over the tenant, so if it's someone that doesn't stand up to the referencing, we'll just refuse the application, and it just works really well. And it's, you know, it's gone from starting off in January and it's just snowballed now as we're in December, and we're just really excited about this kind of model going into 2018. And I think the next step for us as a business is to then help these developers and help these investors find suitable projects to do, where, you know, which will end up being multiple flats. So I'll give you one example. We've sourced on a property in Crosby in Liverpool, which is an old office block. It's been sat there empty for 7 or 8 years. We went to have a look at it. You know, could we see it being suitable for this kind of model? It's under the permit development rights, so the planning's going to be quite easy. We referred it back to one of our clients. They're like, yep, stacks up. They looked at the floor plans, they can get 42 flats out of it. Each flat's a decent floor size. All the services are still intact, you know, so the building's really well serviced, and they're buying it. So they'll do the build, which will probably take 6 months to complete, and then when they finish that, we'll get another 42 flats where we'll get full lettings management and block management. So really our emphasis now is one, to maybe start pitching for the opportunity to let and manage these blocks with an open tender process, or to get into the process early. Let's go and find the sites for the clients. If we find the site for the client and we build a relationship with the client through finding the site, chances are we're going to be the incumbent lettings and management company, and also we're proving ourselves as well. So, you know, we're walking the walk. one of the sites we're taking on in Hull, which will probably be ready in about March, is actually going to be sold off individually. So we've touched base with the company who are doing the sale. We've told them all about us, because they'll need to put that information in their marketing material for the buyers, many of which will be overseas who won't get to see the property. The person that's building it and selling it, the developer, will underwrite the rent for the first 3 years, so they'll have us as their incumbent agent, and then after that we'll then look to maintain the relationship with each of the individual leaseholders. So there's loads of opportunities for us to sort of go into, you know, this sort of field. And one of the areas that I'm quite keen to try and get more into is the, you know, build to rent sector, where people are building things purposely to be rented out. So a bit like halls of residence, where, you know, it might be there's a massive communal dining room or a bar or pool tables, or, you know, they expect people to live communally, and it's, you know, it's all going to be renters rather than apartments, which might be owner occupier, some rent, some investment. And I just think that sort of business model going forwards, of it's almost like student halls but designed for professional people who move from city to city, who want to live on their own, who want all the bills included. And I just think, imagine if you know, if you had a HMO, but instead of it being, you know, the top attic room in a terraced house that's been converted, but it's actually like almost like a dorm room with a communal kitchen, and then downstairs there's like a bar, cinema room, swimming pool, all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? It'd be awesome, wouldn't it? So there's, you know, there's lots of excitement in the industry. I see a lot of doom and gloom as well. A lot of people sort of thinking, you know, buy to let's dead and all this sort of nonsense. But when you actually sort of peel the layers back of the onion, we still have a massive shortage of housing. And we also have a massive need to provide housing in city centres close to employment, you know, where it's harder to get vehicles in. There's, you know, there's less parking. There's, you know, talks of, we're in Leeds now, so there's talks of bringing in congestion charging in Leeds to try and restrict the number of cars going into the city centre. So more people are going to want to live near where they work and near where all the action is. And it's just a great solution. You know, you're not expecting people to start families in, you know, in a HMO room in a block of flats, but if it stops people taking family houses, chopping them up into HMOs, it'll have a knock-on effect that a lot of these properties that are these terraced houses that may be unsuitable HMOs will start getting converted back into family housing, and it has that ripple effect going through the market, providing more housing, which is a good thing. So for anyone that knows Leeds, I know you probably won't if you're watching Ollie's video, because you're southern folk. Horsforth is down to the right, Pudsey is down to the left. We're just coming through Calverley, and we're about to go through Shipley. We're coming through Rodley, about to go through Calverley on the way to Shipley. So some of this scenery here, considering we're less than 10 minutes outside of central Leeds, you know, it's beautiful countryside.
It is nice. There's nice character to where we're driving through.
I used to cycle up here.
Did you?
Yeah, when I lived in Armley, and this was always one. There was the route I did always had 3 big hills, and I think this is number 2. So you can take a break up here, look down. There's a massive new housing estate being built there. Really, really expensive, nice new builds. And then you've got cows.
We got cows down south.
Yeah. Well, don't you live next to like the Arla fields?
We live next to an Arla farm. Yeah.
The Arla is in the
milk
Association of Residential.
No, not them bad boys. Arla is in the milk.
You've got a factory in Leeds, actually.
Yeah.
Quite a big one.
Exploiting cows for milk.
So what do you think of Yorkshire then? Do you like it?
Is this Yorkshire?
Yeah, we're in Yorkshire.
Is it?
Yeah. Leeds is in Yorkshire.
It reminds me of Postman Pat. Look, it's really nice.
And there's a nice little pub on the corner here called the Thornhill Arms, which is nice food.
I don't know if I said it in this bit of the vlog, but we've been to see, how do you want to describe it? You're helping out someone to get their property back to scratch. Is that fair? So
basically one of my clients came to me and went, can you do me a favour, a personal favour? Because they give us a lot of business, you know, I wanted to help them out, but I also, for my own sort of authority in the industry, I like to turn around bad properties and bad portfolios. So they've basically just given me these properties that are absolutely knackered and need bringing back round, ready to be re-advertised. So we've just been round to to one of them now to meet with the council, because the landlord's actually put in an application for a HMO licence, and the council just wanted to come around and inspect and talk about minimum room sizes. And one thing that I found interesting was it's not just a black and white, you know, it has to be this big or that big. The council are actually interested to know that how are the tenants going to be living in the property. You know, is it going to be a typical HMO where, you know, students move in and they use the communal kitchen, they use the communal living room, they don't need massive bedrooms because they use a lot of the communal space? Or is it going to be a HMO where people are going to cook their food, take it up to their rooms and never leave? So it's quite interesting to see that it's not black and white. You know, they would actually look at, you know, how is the house set up? Is it set up for them to use the communal areas? Is it you know, set up for them to socialise? Is there that sort of demographic mix in the area, or is it the sort of area where you're only going to you know, attract people that aren't going to get on? I think the council used one example of a guy who was racially abused by one of his co-tenants. So if you're living in a house with someone in a house share and you're getting racially abused by one of the other tenants, you're not going to want to sit in the front room, are you, and watch Emmerdale together? So it's just interesting to see how, you know, how these houses are mixed. I think sometimes investors, they jump in on something and think, right, I'll do this as a HMO and chop it up, but they don't really think about the letting side of it.
Yeah, the dynamics of the house. And
they just look at numbers. They think, I'll buy the house for this, I'll spend this much on it, and then the maximum rent I can get is this. But what they don't think about is what tenants am I going to attract? What's the likelihood of getting full occupancy? Are the people in this area going to be working? Are they going to be blue collar, white collar? Are they going to be on LHA? What are the LHA restrictions in the area? Just loads of different factors. And I think a lot of investors, they don't think beyond refinancing the house at the end of a refurb. And I get a lot of stuff come to me where it's like, look, we're in a pickle with this, what can we do? You know, how can we improve it and get better tenants?
But I think touching upon letting agents and HMOs, it's almost down to tenant selection as well. That's the key thing of trying to get right and trying to match the household. So we had our 6-bed, 6-ensuite down south.
Yeah.
One of the tenants just wasn't getting on with the other 5, and so we agreed to end her contract early because it creates less tension between them. As a letting agent, we have less aggravation, and it's basically just a win-win for everyone. So that's, you know, management and lettings is the most important part of the whole refurb process.
I mean, definitely, like, you know, you get people on a 6 or 12 month contract, but really, if you've got a HMO and you've got one bad tenant, you'd rather release them from their contract without penalty, give them the deposit back, than keep them in the house and you know, risk losing all the other good tenants. So I think, I mean, from a letting agency point of view, there's not a lot of letting agencies that really get HMOs or really do it. I think some have started doing it recently, more because it's just, you know, people are coming to them saying, I've got HMO, I've got HMO, I've got HMO. I don't think they really understand it, and they're sort of, they're doing it because they feel they have to you know, to continue taking on more landlords. But I don't think they really get it, or they get the dynamics.
No.
When we used to do HMOs, when we had the student agency, we would make sure that professionals lived in a professional house and students lived in a student house. And as racist as this sounds, when you get a lot of international students, you would always find that if you were putting them all together and you had like European students, there would just be a better mix. You know, I mean, if you've got Indian students, they'd probably prefer to live with Indians. Not always the case.
No, and that's not being racist. That's just like culturally, you're matching people. Yeah,
with people with
familiarities of
similar
culture.
cultures, traits.
Because and it's only as you get older you kind of realise that actually that culture's not being rude. That's just how they are. And but as a young kid and students, you don't actually know that, and then it causes friction.
Yeah.
And so, but that as a good letting agent, you understand these like human dynamics.
Yeah.
And you match people for the best.
The thing with tenants is prevention's better than cure.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less work to do a second viewing on a property with someone because your original tenant didn't pass referencing than it is to throw a tenant in and then have no end of problems 6 months down the line. You know, if you look at the eviction process, you're looking at no less than £1,000 just in court fees and fees for people to serve notices properly, not taking into account how much money it will cost you in lost rent, damage, things like that.
Your time.
Yeah, exactly. So losing a week or two here or there, or spending a bit more money on your refurb to get a better tenant, you know, pays itself off 10 times over in the long run. So yeah, so we're at Asda. Should we get some food?
Let's do it. I'm starving. We had a workout.
Oh no, we said we
earlier.
went to KFC, didn't we?
Anyway,
Yeah, let's go
give
to
me some
KFC.
food.
So here we are outside Merchant's house. This building behind, which is the 31 flats. It's a bit noisy here, so maybe we should have a walk down and we'll go in the back and then we'll give you a bit of a tour. So follow me. Right, here we are on the ground floor, well, basement level. Ground floor, I think, actually, lower ground, because it's lower at the back than it is at the front. Just saying to Ollie before he started filming that I love seeing a building start to take shape. So last time I was here about 2 weeks ago, they've pretty much not done anything on this level. Some of the upper levels are fully complete, but if you come through you can sort of get an idea. And then as we go further up the building, you can see.
So hang on, so where are we staying? Is this the front door of an apartment?
Yeah.
This one?
So this apartment here, come move this door. So basically you've got a bedroom in here.
So what was this building originally?
Council offices, I think.
So it was offices.
Yeah.
Okay. The same lights as us.
Yeah, so this will be one of the flats. Quite unique downstairs, so obviously the layout of the building. Ensuite and...
Nice.
Oh, to the left, sorry.
Yeah. It's a good quality finish.
Yeah, they're really nice. Take it to the show flats.
Yeah.
Really good. So the ones on this level are actually going to be bigger than the rest. So there's 4 on this level, and then there's 7 on each other level. That's right, isn't it? 28, I don't know. I think there's 3 down here.
So this is a 1-bed flat?
Yes, then this will be kitchen, open plan living area, fully furnished.
Nice.
Yeah, there's another one. I'll show you some of them.
This one's huge.
Yeah.
What's this then? What, with a window?
Yeah. The natural light.
Massive.
Like I was going to say, all this space.
It's a bit wasted, isn't it? But I suppose you can't really. There's nothing you can do with what it was as a carcass or whatever.
So these are really taking shape now.
Yeah, it's big, isn't it? Oh. So that's 3, 4 downstairs?
Yeah, 4. It's 4, 7, 7, 7, 6.
Do you know what? Alicia and her mum absolutely kill us if we walk on the carpet. So me and Enrico were like painting. We're like getting their carpets.
There should be 4 covers.
Yeah, Alicia's mum had kittens, seeing all the dust.
You know what, we're better off going up higher.
Up higher?
Because the layouts, the middle 3 floors are all identical. But I think they've done more the higher up you go.
Nearly there. Can't sit down. That's what these ones are sort of done. At least you've got an elevator.
Fires are burning.
And light.
One of the things that I love
bar.
Digital keypads.
We got them.
Absolute godsend.
Oh, that goes all the way down.
That's the vent.
Nice.
So this is pretty much one of the finished ones. I think this is probably one of the mid-size. The sizes go from about, I think the smallest is about 19 square meters for one of the studios, up to like 45, 50. So I think this is probably mid-20s. Basically, living space, kitchen, and then bedroom. So these will all be fully furnished, all bills included. Probably looking at between £500 and £600 a month.
What's like HMO?
It's kind of like one step up from a HMO, but it's like self-contained.
So why are the bills included?
Because it's all on one system.
Okay.
So rather than having separate supplies, because they're not being sold individually,
Yeah.
because it's just one freeholder, one owner, it's easy just to have it all running off one centralised system and have like TRVs. So each flat can just turn down the heating as they need it, so then they'll just have a huge boiler that just runs constantly, which I think is more efficient.
Plinth on that. It's been kicked.
God, plinth problems. It's all
You've
hardware.
got a heat alarm and a smoke alarm.
Heat sensor, smoke alarm. Decent design, so this will have all the white goods. Smart.
The bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good touch. So it's like plasticky.
Yeah.
It's obviously for like condensation.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Got any
bad.
paint peeling.
Yeah, I like it. Shoes off. Don't mind. Take my shoes off. Oh, okay. So that one, I like that that's got the
Skylight.
skylight, yeah.
I think one of my favourite things about this building from a lettings point of view is the fact that there's so many different shapes and sizes. So you're not just showing someone like one style of flat, and if they don't like it, that's it. There's there's so many different layouts in this place. It's really going to be a case of letting people have a wander around, view all the flats, and pick the one they want.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun doing viewings, taking people around 30 flats at a time.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
This is one. Little window.
So again, completely separate layout.
Okay. So I like this bedroom. Quite a cool bedroom, bathroom, lounge. So I suppose this one's a bit better because you've got a TV there, couch here.
Yeah.
So if you live in Leeds and you want a nice, all bills included,
Shipley.
Shipley.
Just outside
I've
Bradford.
no idea where we are, just outside Bradford.
You didn't realise
Hit me
this
up.
was in Yorkshire, did you?
I had no idea. Not a clue. These are nice.
Do you want to see the show flats then?
Let's do it. And this one.
This one's nice. It's got the big window.
Oh, okay. Oh! Look at this one. It's nice and airy. You can see the natural lights coming in really nicely, and what I suppose is a lounge. Hang on.
The tenants come in running.
Oh bloody hell! So was that a bedroom?
Yeah.
Wow.
So can you see that, look?
Hang on. See what?
Train line.
See a train line.
Train station is
Yeah.
literally there.
Where?
Just over there, look.
Left.
A few minutes.
Okay.
Trains to Leeds, Bradford and surrounding areas. And just there, past that building there, is McDonald's.
Why is that a selling point?
Because everyone wants to live near a McDonald's, especially on a Sunday. And then look in the distance of the old mills and the chimneys. A gorgeous part of the world. Covered in dust. Oh, let's go and see some show flats.
I like it. I like it. Let's do this. So next door.
This is next door. This one's got the fancy bedroom.
Fancy bedroom. It's got no windows.
Just the big wall. Maybe we've got a big mirror here.
But hang on, I'm sure you can, but can you get blinds for this sort of slant?
I think there's going to be some blinds.
You're gonna have to get custom built, I guess.
Yeah.
Because obviously you want to like separate that. You don't want, I don't know, your room on show.
I think the intention is to put blinds there. Whether or not you can get a roll blind on an angle.
We'd have to get custom built or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But how much? 500 quid a month?
But, well, we're aiming for between 500 and 700 depending on the size.
Yeah.
So what we're doing, because we're launching all 31 at the same time, we need to think about supply and demand. So we've had issues in the past where we've launched too many, not us personally, but our clients have launched too many of the same building at the same time and they've struggled to fill it. So what we'll be doing is we'll be sort of advertising one or two at a time, getting the interest, obviously showing people the other flats.
All of it, yeah.
Doing deals with people as well, because one of the things that hurts people moving is the moving costs. So we might offer them like 2 weeks free rent, incentives like that really just to get them in. You know, give them a bit of a deduction on the rent.
Yeah.
You know, for a 12-month contract as opposed to a 6. And then when we get to the point where it's full and it's just one tenant moving in and one tenant moving out, then we'll go back to full market rent. But the key thing is with something like this, because it's a cash flowing asset, we don't want it 50% full. We want it full. And if that means giving someone a discount, get it full, and then worry about your cash flow as the tenants move out. You know, what I mean? Get someone in on 500, get it full. Someone moves out, put it to 550. Repeat your rents up that way.
Yeah.
There's no point trying to be greedy from the start because all you'll do then is just have an empty building.
Yeah.
Cool, right? Show flat time.
Show flat.
Hello. Nice of you to join us.
To your abode.
Welcome to one of the show flats. So this is actually probably one of the mid-sized flats. The show flat's really designed to give the tenants an idea of what it would look like, furnished, ready to move into. So a lot of the furniture that's in this show flat will be in all the other flats. Things like the pasta and the kettle will be down to the tenants. How you doing?
What's the view out here? Scaffolding. Yeah. Giving me ideas. Oh, you've even put the toothbrushes.
I know.
Look at that.
What a touch.
Towels. Very interesting. It's making me want a big development like this.
One day, Ollie. So do you want me to talk you through how we would market this building and what the plans are?
Yes.
Okay, so we advertise on Rightmove and Zoopla. We've also got membership with Gumtree. So we'll be advertising the property on those portals. To keep it exclusive, we won't be advertising all the flats at the same time. We'll probably advertise 3 or 4 at a time. As one gets let, we'll advertise a new one. For one of 2 reasons. We don't want people to think there's loads of flats and there's loads of choice. But also the way the portals work is they will always advertise the most recent properties at the top of the listings. So by advertising 1 or 2 new ones every week, we'll always be at the top of the listings. So naturally, anyone who's fresh on the market for looking for properties will see the properties at the top of the list, and naturally we'll get more inquiries. We've got big giant banners that are going to go on the black gate next to the car park, and also one at the side of the building, so anybody coming down Leeds Road will be able to see those. We've set up a specific Facebook page just for this building, so we'll use that for targeted advertising. Yeah. But also when we've got tenants moving in, we'll use it as a community page. We're also looking at doing a one-page static website which will be hosted within our website, where people might, for example, type 1-bedroom flat Shipley on Google, and they'll go straight to the landing page of the development, where they can leave their details and register with us. Yeah. We've got this video which I'm hoping will help towards some of the marketing efforts. We've also got a company who are meeting me next week, who, when everything's finished, they'll be doing a full 3D walkthrough of the site. We'll then have floor plans of everything, and it'll almost be like a doll's house, where you can sort of see in each flat, walk around, and do a virtual tour without ever, having to set foot in the building. We're going to do block viewings to make sure we maximise the number of viewings we can. So we'll be doing viewings Tuesday mornings, Thursday evenings, and Saturday mornings. So everyone should be able to fit into one of those slots to maximise the number of viewings we've got. I'm also going to speak to a local agent about tapping into their database of contacts and then doing it on a let-only basis. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. Maybe a few posts on LinkedIn and social media just to really get the get the buzz out there. But it's a very exciting development for us. We're looking forward to marketing it for January and getting it full as quick as possible.
Praying, hoping that she left a clue, 'cause I wasn't even looking for love, but she was everything I've been dreaming of. And when I woke up in the morning, she was gone. I never got her name, I never got her name. In the morning when I woke up, she was gone without a trace. I never got her name, I never got her name.
So there we go, that's Merchant's House. Hope you enjoyed the tour. I know Ollie will be putting this on the usual channels, but if anyone who wants to put some comments or get in touch and ask a few more questions about this sort of development, then feel free. It's always good to sort of do these videos with Ollie and get involved in what those guys are doing and show them the sort of stuff that we're working on. So we stand here today as the letting agents, who are contracted to get the tenants, but no doubt in a few years' time we'll be stood here with hard hats and yellow vis jackets, and we'll be doing the developments and owning the buildings as well. So it's an exciting journey. Property is definitely the place to be, in my opinion. Stuff like this just gets my juices flowing really, as opposed to dealing with some grotty student house and some angry tenants.